Quang cảnh thờ chính thờ trước Kitô thành phố Orange của ban đêm. Lát nữa có chương trình ca nhạc của dòng con Thánh Phaolô, đó là The Daughter of Saint Paul, diễn ra lúc 6 giờ. Lát nữa 6 giờ chiều chương trình hòa nhạc Giáng sinh của chủ đề là He is One của dòng ái nữ Thánh Phaolô, tổ chức tại nhà thờ chính tòa Orange. Những phút đang chuẩn bị bắt đầu. The Christmas concert of the Daughter of Saint Paul. Chương trình hòa nhạc của dòng ái nữ Thánh Phaolô sẽ sẽ bắt đầu vào lúc 6 giờ. Bây giờ đang chuẩn bị khách đến.
Welcome to the third annual Daughters of St. Paul concert in Southern California. And as you may know, this is our first in Orange County and our very first at Christ Cathedral. I understand we have people from as far away as Camarillo, from Ventura County, from San Diego, from Palm Desert, and Los Angeles and Culver City. How is that? That's wonderful.
Yeah.
My name is Sister Rose Picati, and I'm honored to be your host this evening. But to start things off, we're going to have our local superior from Culver City, Sister Mary Jerome, come out to share a few words. Sister Jerome.
Thank you, Sister Rose. Good evening, and welcome to our He is Born Christmas concert. The sisters you will soon meet have come together from all over the country, and they have come to share with us their gifts of song, story, and prayer. This evening's event could not have been possible without the help of our concert committee, and if you'll bear with me, I'd like to mention them by name. Val Aquino, Ida Bate, Myra Brown, Megan Harrington, and Pilar and Michael Collins. Thank you so much for your generous time and talent. And thank all of you for making us part of your Christmas celebration, for giving us the privilege to share with you the hope and the joy that fill our hearts as we remember and celebrate our Savior's birth. Proceeds from this evening's event will help sustain our presence and our evangelizing media mission here in Southern California, which, as you may imagine, is costly. Many of our outreach and media literacy education programs are made possible because of the generosity of people like you. And so it is with grateful hearts that we thank you and welcome you tonight. And thank you especially for your prayerful and your financial support this evening. May God bless you. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Sister Jerome. I want to mention we have Mr. and Mrs. Bowie, the parents of one of the choir sisters, who are here from Phoenix. So we really cast a big net with this concert. Yes. You know, I've been a sister for almost 53 years, and I always wanted to be part of the choir. But it's hard when you can't sing. No one wants you in the choir. I can't imagine why. So a few years ago, really quite a few years ago, I started at the Mother House in Boston. I started an alternative choir with 6 other sisters. We sounded like cats. Everybody likes cats, right? Right? It was a lot of fun. They didn't let us sing in chapel, but we got to sing in the dining room after Christmas lunch. It was a good time was had by all. You know, Christmas is a time for joy and laughter, and we hope that you'll have plenty of that tonight. But did you hear about the little girl who went to the mall? And she was about 6 or 7 years old, and she's standing in front of Santa Claus, and he says, "Hello, sweetie, what would you like for Christmas?" And she looks horrified. She's stunned. And she says, "Didn't you get my email?" So tonight's going to be great, but one last thing before we start. I have a question for you. We're going to hear the word Gloria a lot tonight. But how many syllables does the word Gloria have? Gloria. I said 3. That was fast. Okay. Well, that's what most people think. But if you ask nuns who sing Christmas carols for a good part of the year, how many syllables does Gloria have? Well, Sister Julia is going to help us count. Come on out, Sister Julia. Okay, so everybody hold up your hand. Hey, stop, hey. No. That's our shtick. Anyway, hold up your hand, and now hit it, Sister Gloria. Sister Julia. Sister Julia. So now, sit back, relax, and when you hear Gloria, don't start counting. No. But during the Christmas season, whenever you hear it, just think of how many times you're glorifying God when you say Gloria. Anyway, God bless you and enjoy the show.
Our lyrics, and we just feel their love coming to us, and I just want to pour out my heart and sing for them.
I'm Sister Nancy.
I'm Sister Margaret Timothy.
My name is Sister Faye.
My name is Sister Tracy. My name is Sister Julia Mary Ehrenkamp.
What I wish most for the people who attend this concert is that they get a special sense of joy and of hope. Our music and our presence and our laughter and what we share as sisters will really uplift people and give them a sense, really God's presence at work in their lives, in the tangible, in the everyday experience.
Christmas is Jesus entering our world that needs him so badly, so that we see what our life is supposed to be like. We pray and wish that they experience God's love for them in just a way that is so undeniable that
I'm gonna show you now what love is.
Good evening. It's great to be like Christ comes into our lives and sets us free. And what a beautiful gift that is. And so during this concert, we ask you to open your minds, your hearts to receive his gift, whatever he is offering to you at this moment. And to know that we're sharing this gift with you right now. And this next song is a beautiful song about the three kings. And it talks about the king's expectations. And it's also about our own expectations. That's what Advent's all about, our expectation for the coming of Christ into our hearts.
Cho đạo vậy xem.
At least 315 guardian angels here tonight. And they were given to us by God to guide, to protect us, and also to help us glorify God. So we're asking them to sing with us this next song. And you too, we're asking you to sing in your hearts. If you want to sing out loud, you'll know this. Angels we have heard on high. And most of all, we ask them to sing with us and to help us glorify the Lord.
Good evening. All is calm now, all is quiet, a star shining in the sky. Glory, God, the King is sleeping, oh what a glorious night. Oh what a familiar Christmas song, but I want you to think about what moves me the most. I review films in Hollywood, so actually I like to watch a lot of movies, and I love history. And I've seen several movies, about the Christmas truce of 1914 during World War I, when the British soldiers and the German soldiers all along the Western Front, Christmas Eve, started exchanging Christmas greetings across the line. And at one point, the German soldiers started singing Stille Nacht. And the British soldiers responded, Silent Night. And they started singing. And at different points all along the Western Front, without anybody telling anybody, it started happening. In exchange of gifts, in exchange of food, of greetings. And I thought to myself, what a beautiful and it's very emotional to consider that even in our differences, Christ, we are all one in Christ. And He has come to save each one of us. And even in our world, in this time of great division and struggle, He is calling us to be a loving presence to one another. He's calling us to cross the divide, to be that presence of light and of hope in a world that's desperate for it. So this lovely new song of Silent Night is also combined with a beautiful hymn, Lord of My Life.
Holy
most of the Amish are settled. And I grew up a good little Protestant girl, but I was also a big book nerd. So, because there's really nothing to do in Lancaster County, honestly, except go to the farmers markets, which I did that. But we spent most of our time at the public library. So when I was about 12 years old, my best friend and I went to the public library on a Saturday, like we usually did, and we found a book called The Song of Bernadette. And we had no idea who Bernadette was or what a saint was, but we were fascinated by the story. We both read it, and consequently after that we were church hopping, not actually going to church services, but just going in and out of churches because everything was open. 1971, so this is back practically when the Beatles were still together, but you could get in and out of churches and nobody bothered you. So we went into Sacred Heart Church, which was right across the street from where I lived. And there on the side chapel was a stained glass window of Our Lady of Lourdes. And I said, look at this, look at this. I said, this is the book we were reading about. So we went looking for more books because we exhausted what they had in the public library. And we found a Catholic bookstore in Philly that was run by nuns. And she said, they have more of those books, Joel. We can go there and get some more books. I said, well, how much money should I bring? She said, oh, I don't think you need money. These are nuns. They're not going to charge you. So it's a good thing that her mother came along and we got a stack of books, went up to the counter, and the sister behind the counter actually said, so have you ever thought of becoming a sister? I said, no, but don't you have to be Catholic to do that? And she said, yes, you do. So she gave me a catechism, and 2 years later I signed up. So here I am. Thing that I think, reading that book on the Song of Bernadette gave me such a love for the Blessed Mother, because in our Protestant church, she made an appearance yearly at Christmas in the nativity scene, and then they put her back in the closet. That was it. But so to have, the Catholic Church had her, she was all over the place. Mary was just all over the place. So it was, the devotion started way back when. And now I've been in the convent, not quite as long as Sister Rose, only 45 years, but it's long enough. And every Advent, I keep hoping that I'll have a nice, peaceful, calm Advent. And I think I'm pretty much like the rest of y'all. It's the most chaotic time of the year. And you want it to be calm and peaceful, but it's just so chaotic and busy and full and everything. So I said to the Blessed Mother once recently, we have conversations. And I just said, you know what, is it possible that I can at least one time have a peaceful Advent? And you know what she said to me? She said, my first Advent wasn't that peaceful. I said, okay, I guess so. But, the thing is, she said, well, here's the thing. That life that's growing inside of me is growing inside of you too. But it has to be nourished. So the thing is, we have to find ways, I don't know, how many of y'all have a cell phone? Do you have a cell phone? Raise your hand, Okay, good. So do the nuns, believe it or not, we all have a smartphone. So you can be really attached to that phone and you can be on it all the time, but can we find like 5 minutes a day where we're just quiet? And I think during Advent, can we try doing that? Just 5 minutes a day, because in the end, I'm going to forget talking about the book. See the book I'm holding? There I am. Okay. Just so you can see it better, because you can't. On the front of this is a beautiful little devotion to the Blessed Mother, a devotional book. The nice thing is, because she's the best Advent companion you can have. If you want to get ready for Christmas, that's the best one that you could have, is the Blessed Mother. So what it says on the front, you see how it has a beautiful insignia there? It says A.M. Most people think that means Ave Maria, but it actually means Auspice Maria, which means under the protection of Mary, which I should wear like a badge. I mean, really, all of us should wear it like a badge. We all should be under the protection of Mary. We should be in the company of Mary, because that's the best way to spend Advent. So that when we finally arrive at Christmas, we can give Jesus what he really wants, which is time with him, which is our heart, and the Blessed Mother knows the best way to prepare that, so that on that holy night, we have the best gift to offer. By the way, you can sell this book. It's out in the hall.
the very first people in the world who will be hearing it. It was just written and recorded this year. And it takes us back. It takes us to the very first Christmas, but in a beautiful perspective. And in reflecting on it, I go back even a little further, to about 160 years before Christmas, when God was preparing the world for the advent of his Son. Preparing not just the chosen people, but all people. Kind of arousing in them a desire, a sense that we were made for a deep union with God, and that this was something God intended. And a Roman playwright drafted a beautiful line that echoes this desire. He was speaking in terms of the fellowship of man, but it speaks so well of the Christmas mystery. And that line from a play written in 160 BC by a Roman slave who was set free because of his great talent, actually, has inspired poets and playwrights ever since. And that line is, "I am a man. Nothing human is alien to me. I am a man. Nothing human is alien to me." And we can all say that. I'm human. So there's no human experience that isn't mine, doesn't belong to me by our common human nature. But at Christmas, God could say it. "Now, I am a man, and nothing human is alien to me. No human feeling, no human experience." And in order to drive the point home, he came to us in extreme circumstances. He came to us in poverty, in a borrowed stable, and he would be buried in a borrowed grave. And he made his coming contingent on the yes of a young woman. And it's that young woman whom this next song will admire. We will enter into her experience, the very human experience of a mother's delight in her child. And through Mary, God experiences this as well. "I am a man, I am human. Nothing human is alien to me." Now, if you like this song, you can get it in this beautiful concert edition. Limited edition CD of the highlights of tonight's concert. But we did record it just this summer when we put the concert together. We record the album, decide more or less the outline of the concert. Sometimes we throw in some last minute things. We did that this year too. So not everything's on the CD, but this next song that you'll be hearing, you are privileged among very few people in the world to be the first to hear. Mary had a son. We'll also have the visually interpreted and danced by Stephanie Torres.
and I was born and raised in South Louisiana. So there are actually 3 of the choir members that are from Louisiana. So Louisiana makes up a third of this body. And part of the thing in Louisiana is like we love music, we love to dance. And the cool thing about being a sister, a daughter of St. Paul, is I've been able to kind of slip in my dancing here and there. It's great. Now, one of the things about a Daughter of St. Paul concert is we do a little bit of audience participation. I know you're excited. So what I want you to do is kind of loosen up, okay? Don't hit your neighbor, but just kind of loosen up, roll your shoulders. You're going to be neat your hands, your arms. Now the next song we're going to do is also an original to the album that we have available. It's Deck the Halls. It's our own version because while there are 3 sisters from Louisiana, there are 2 sisters that have a Polynesian background. So yeah, we kind of put a little rhythm in this one. Now, people have written about the choir and, articles, and they describe our choreography as light choreography. So whatever I do, you can do too. Okay? So, the words in Deck the Halls are very complicated. The words are basically fa la 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 la, not too hard. So, everybody, you're loose? Okay, good. So kind of hands up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go fa la la la, and then fa la 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 la, and then fa la 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 la, and then fa la 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 la. I mean, come on, right? Okay, then the other move we're going to do is what we lovingly call the chair hula. Okay, now there's a little trick in there. Every concert, we have people that don't really pay attention. So, hands up. Okay? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, clap. So how fast from the 4 to the clap? Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, clap. You're not paying attention. I can't see you. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, clap. I'm gonna come after you. All right, one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, clap. Awesome. Okay. Now, another thing about our concerts, you will notice that the sisters never change costumes. But we do accessorize. So, we're going to do this next song. It's our version of Deck the Halls. And we all get to feel like Hawaiian princesses for like 3 minutes. Now, I want everyone who is young at heart, any kids in the audience, any teenagers in the audience, to pay real close attention. Because we might just do this with you. Now, sisters, come on out. Here's our Hawaiian princess, Sister Faye. Except she's not Hawaiian. Samoa, sorry. Let her rip. La la la, la la
intermission, I wanted to let you know that we pray for all of you and your special needs and intentions before we come out to this concert, as we do along our whole tour, which is a coast-to-coast tour, and we pray for all those we encounter. But I don't know if, as a religious sister, we get people who stop us everywhere to ask us for prayers. I mean, on the street corner, in subways, in trains, in planes, everywhere. They even asked us to sing on this tour in the airplane. Yeah, we're giving a big shout out to Southwest because they were awesome. But I don't know if you ever noticed, but we noticed that there's a big difference between men and women when they ask us for prayer. So women, we like lists. So we keep, lots of lists. And guys, they just cut to the chase. So I was with another sister in a grocery store, and this woman comes up to us and starts asking us, "Can you pray for me? Can you pray for my nephew who needs a job? Can you pray for my niece who has her kids and is going crazy? Can you pray for my aunt? Can you pray for this person? Can you pray for that person?" It's 15 minutes later, and we're still praying over her in the grocery store, and everybody's walking around and going like this. This is like church in here, and they're kind of slowly walking away from us. And then this is me. So women, we like lists, right? And then men. So this guy, we were driving. I was also with another sister. And we're driving. We were at a stoplight. And this guy comes up to the stoplight next to us just as it was about to turn green. And as it turns green and he puts on the accelerator, he looks over and he sees nuns. And he puts it on and he just zooms up ahead of us and he puts his arm out the window and he goes, "Say one!" Didn't even see his face, but I said a prayer for him anyway. So we want you to know that we pray for each of you and your special needs and intentions. So I'd like you to take a moment. You received an envelope in your program or just an envelope and a pen. To take a moment to consider. If you open it up, you can put in your prayer intentions. And we ask that you write out really what are your needs. What do you want us as sisters to pray for? And we will, and we do, and not just the choir, but our sisters around the whole province will be praying for your needs and intentions, especially during our Christmas novena, which begins this week. So if you just take a moment, we'll put the house lights up. Take a moment during this time of intermission to write your prayer intentions. We're going to take a few minutes, and we'll be right back after a little break. God bless you.
Chương trình tạm nghỉ 10 phút. Quý vị sẽ quay trở lại xem sau 10 phút. Cảm ơn.
And I think the reason desires that are within each of us. Some of the lyrics are, "Guide us with your grace, lead us to that place, give us faith so we will be safe." And isn't that what we each desire? We desire to be in a safe place for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our children. And that's where we want to be. And sogniamo un mondo. We dream of a world where there is no more violence, where there is a world of justice and peace. And we all desire that, don't we? So when we sing this song, we pray that you will be guided by God's grace and that you will find yourself in that safe place
which we know is in the heart of God. I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer. When we lose our way, lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe. La luce che tu dai, we will find your light, and hold it in our heart. We come to and stars go out each night. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, give us faith so we'll be saved. Sogniamo un mondo senza più violenza, un mondo di giustizia e di speranza. Sento che ci So I'm pretty sure that by now you've
figured out that all of us came from different backgrounds and families. I personally, as I said earlier, was born and raised in South Louisiana. This is me and my brother Toby. I was a rather chunky child. And my parents, my mom and dad, married in their 30s and had us. And this is one of those pictures that we took, you know, in the Catholic Church, there are these church directories. Well, our appointment must have been the earliest one because it looks like we just woke up. So I was raised Catholic, but my Catholicism was sort of like that boring thing we did on the weekends. And on, like, during Lent, we would say the rosary. And I can actually remember that my brother and I used to have, like, contests to see who could say the Hail Mary faster. It was like the auctioneer Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Holy Mary. So I had to make a journey, you know. And that's the whole point of it, is that all of us made a journey. And for me, growing up, my faith was kind of on the side. What was really important, especially when I was in grade school, was how not to be weird. How not to get picked on. You feel me? You understand what I mean? And then in high school, it was like, what kind of person do I really want to end up being? And I remember I would try different things, you know, because movies, books, the culture, advertising, they all had a message for me. You know, they all were showing me images of what it meant or what they said you needed to do in order to be happy. So I kept trying different things. So I tried to be really, you know, smart, make really good grades, because that was one of the first things in the 6th grade. I saw this girl, she won an award because she did really good grades, and I was like, oh, they're clapping for her. I think I'm gonna do that. So I worked in school really hard, and then, but you know, as a teenager, it was more about my appearance. So I figured, okay, you gotta be pretty, you gotta be popular, you gotta date the right guy, you gotta have the right friends. So I kept trying all of these things, and then at a certain point, you know, I was like, maybe I want to be bad. Maybe I want to be a troublemaker. So I kept trying different things. The look also made a journey. And finally, I did settle on a look. That is really me. And that's 1988. I was a sophomore in high school. It was all about the perm and the bangs. I mean, the bangs were, they could like almost talk. We worked really hard to get those bangs like that. And actually, if you were feeling a little lazy and you didn't want to wash all that hairspray out of all of your hair, you just had to wash your bangs. I know there's ladies here that know what I'm talking about. And I have to say, kind of at that time where I was like, yeah, I want to be bad, you know, me and my friends decide, and I'm not proud of this, we all wanted to smoke. Now let me tell you something. Lighting a cigarette over a stove with those bangs. My friend was there, and we were just like standing there, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, she's like St. Jude, she's got and no lie, her bangs just sort of. True story. So, and what you can't really tell, but I've also have some shoulder pads in this picture. It's all about the fashion. So finally, I visited the sisters in my junior year, and this is about what I look like. This is my senior year, but you can see it's about the same time. The bangs have just sort of migrated. So I visit the sisters pretty much decked out like this. And I remember I'm sitting there with them, we're sitting around, and we're visiting. This was the first time I had ever met nuns. I'd seen something in a movie, but not in real life. And I'm watching them. Number one, I noticed they all seem to shop at the same store. Wearing the same thing. I'm like, boring, But then, as I'm talking to them, I can see that they're just, I'm all about my makeup and my hair, and they don't have a lick of makeup on. And I could see them. And I felt like I could see their beauty just sort of coming at me. And they were all different ages, all different backgrounds, all different personalities. Some were more quiet, some were more vivacious, some were more bubbly and laughing. And I remember feeling this tremendous desire to be that free. Kid you not, in that moment I had this tremendous urge to go to my guest room and wash off all the makeup off my face, which I did do. Now you have to understand, as a teenager, and you're wearing that much makeup, you're covering some blemishes and some stuff. So I was not, confident about this move, but I thought to myself, if they can handle seeing me as I really am, I might have a place here. And I did. They didn't bat an eye. They just kept talking to me. And I realized through that experience that there's something about letting yourself be seen for who you really are that gives others the opportunity to truly be themselves. And I had to let go. I had to surrender something that I had put my security in. I had to release it. I had to wash it off. And I believe that each one of us have something to surrender. At Christmas time, we're getting. But sometimes our faith calls us to let go. And to be able, so that with our empty hands, we can receive what God wants to give us. For me at that time, I was trying to build my own identity. I was trying to achieve it for myself. And all the while, God just wanted to give it to me as a gift. So that, in giving of myself to others, they then would receive the gift of who they were. This next song that we're going to sing for you has become another favorite in our concerts. It's not exactly a Christmas song. It's a song called Angels Among Us. We believe that there are people that come into our life, kind of like those sisters in mine, who point the way to our truth, to our goal, who is God. They clear the path so that we can relate with a clear path to God. As we sing this next song, think of those people in your life that have been like angels for you, who have shown the way to truth, to beauty, to goodness, and ultimately to God.
I was walking home from school one cold winter day when I took a shortcut through the woods. But then I lost my way.
plant those seeds to fill the empty holes where God needs to be present. So for you, at this time, we ask you to consider perhaps giving your support to be angels to our mission, to participate with us through a financial gift to our mission so that we can carry this mission of music farther and more effectively into our modern world. We're going to give you just a moment to pray. Ask the Lord. Maybe He wants you to give a sacrificial gift, something that you weren't planning on, but He's asking you to do tonight. Because no amount is too small. You would partner with us in planting good seeds in our world.
Which is actually closer to the Gulf than New Orleans. And I'm stationed in New Orleans. And I love this next song. It's called It's Christmas. The first time we sang it this year was in front of Macy's at Downtown Crossing in Boston. And it was great because it's about the season, but it's also about the main reason for the season, which is our Lord. And there we were in a very secular place, planting seeds for our Jesus. So you're gonna need to get your light out for this. This song has attitude, so we need your help. And take that light out, help your neighbor, and let's do some beautiful singing for the Lord.
Trees up in the window.
our program has become a favorite song in our Christmas concert series over the years. And it has a little backstory to it. It's called Perfect Christmas Night. It's not that too well known. And when we first put it in the program, it was in 2001. And if you remember, that was when the attack on the Twin Towers on the Pentagon happened. And I remember it was a song that was picked for our benefit dinner concert in New York. And at that time, we only did concerts in New York area and Boston. And our organizers had to revisit this theme again, because it was also the theme for the concert. And because we said, with all that grief and sadness that was happening right there in the nation and New York City especially, how could we sing this song called Perfect Christmas Night? How could you have a perfect Christmas? But anyway, we decided to continue with after discussing it, they just said, well, you know, why don't we just continue it? Because we've already picked the theme and everything has been planned. And at that particular concert, our organizers invited the survivors of the firemen, the first responders who died in the towers. So there were over 100 survivors of the first responders present as our guests at our concert. And the most amazing thing happened. We sang it in the program, and we decided at the end of the program, we're going to play it again because it was really well received during the program. So it was like a spontaneous last-minute thing. And the most fascinating thing happened. At the periphery of the ballroom where we were singing, they pulled all the chairs aside and just started dancing in the periphery. And it was really touching, spontaneous gesture for me, because even in the midst of so much sadness and so much sorrow there, so much grief that you couldn't see your way through, there was this element of joy. And I think the reason there was this element of joy was because we were celebrating, there was love present to us, celebrating the loved ones of the present moment, those who were around us. So this is our prayer for you when we sing this very happy, joyful song, that you have a perfect Christmas night. And that is perfect because it is full of love, and we know that God is love. I hope I can sing it, fighting a cold, so we'll see. And she always has to do this because I can't talk and fix this at the same time. Even after like 7 concerts.
I got the lights down low, the sky
almost the end of the program. Believe it or not, it goes by so fast each time. You and your families a beautiful, blessed Christmas. And I can say this for the last, just use your imaginations, which I'm sure you've been doing all through the program, because you really need to work with the sisters here. We would like to sing you our Christmas card, if we could. And it just kind of imagine like Rosemary Clooney and the cast of White Christmas, because that's kind of what we're aiming for. But we're aiming for it. And if you can pull out those cute little lights, because it makes it a whole lot easier to sing when you're waving those pretty lights around too to help us out. So, and it's a costume change thing. Where's my scarf? I can't wear red for this. Thank you. Because I'm Rosemary Clooney. Thank you very much.
we are at the end of our program. For us, it seems like it goes fast. I don't know about you, but we enjoy singing for all of you as we travel around the country and we share with everyone our love of music, our love of Christ, our love of this season that gets us to reflect and think about really Christ's presence in our hearts and in our minds. And if you really liked this concert, did you like it? Yeah. And listen to us, special limited edition out there in the foyer. But it's not just on CD, but it's also available on downloads from iTunes and Amazon and streaming services like Spotify. So you have many opportunities to listen to us year-round. So we appreciate your support. Share this great stocking stuffer, etc. But we thank you so much for being with us. We love singing for you. We love this moment, especially to be in Orange County for the first time ever.
Do you like this? My sister Tracy said we go unmuted. Mute myself? Okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah, anyway, one of our sisters made this. You know, this is 25 years we've been doing Christmas concerts. I know it took us this long to get to OC. But we've been doing Christmas concerts for 25 years, so we got into this silver kind of motif, you know, kind of running through our visuals and our accessories. Anyway, just wanted to let you know that we're praying for you. As we keep telling you that we do pray for you, we prayed for you before we arrived here. We prayed for all of the people that we would meet through our music apostolate, through our Christmas concerts. And we prayed for you, each of you, and your special intentions. A special thank you to all those that made this concert possible, our sponsors, those who responded to our Amazon wish list to help us provide for our needs as we tour. There are two sisters that you don't see on the stage but are part of our concert tour, and they're our tech crew, Sister Bethany and Sister Carly in the back. Sister Carly, Bethany does the audio, Sister Mariah, and Sister Carly runs the video wall, and she and another sister in Boston created all the images back here. And a special thanks to Will Schuster, right? Yes. Yes, thank you very much for coming to our need. You are our guardian angel. Thank you. Thanks to Darvik Productions, all those that were part of this production. Thank you so much. So again, we wish you a very blessed and Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year. God bless you. We'll pray for each other, right? Thank you.